Yo, what's going on? It's your man T History. It's the deal, man. The baby's crawling, soon to be walking like Mike Jack. You know, um, I'm just out here again. Just have fun with my man Mister. Gave shout outs to everybody. I want everybody across the globe. Like I said, when people's Philippines, Japan, Germany, Norway, everybody that's looking in or catch this on a replay. I thank y'all for watching. Who's gonna be here, who's not. But whatever, peace to all and everybody. Let's be successful and try to be peaceful out here. You know what I'm saying? And God bless all through these terrible times or whatever. But this is what I like to do. My little niche is TH3. I have an interview of a guest, and the brother is about to come up here now. So we're not even gonna stall it. Let's get busy.
What's good with you? You can hear me?
Yeah, very clear. You hear me?
Yeah. You good?
Yeah. Nice way to come out, champion, brother. Would you let our wonderful people know who you are?
Street knowledge, Tony Black.
Okay, that's what's up. So T Black, we on street. I even myself, I gotta find that's my thing. I gotta find a way to. I gotta break one of these down. That's too much. But but I get it. I know that it's. I mean, it says what it is, and I get it. Um,
Word.
Street, where you from, bro?
Baltimore.
Okay, all your life.
All my life.
That's what's up. So you know a whole lot about the Wire. Then.
Yeah,
Well, shit, I was in
some of it
it.
is sad, some of it is satire. You know what I'm saying? Some of it, they gotta make things seem interesting for TV. No anybody that ever hit the block, like come on. It ain't no
Right, right.
meetings and you know what I'm saying? Like to be honest, but it makes for a good show. But they used uh a drug dealer in Baltimore. They used his life. Avon Barksdale was an actual person, and they used some writers for the Baltimore Sun and using his story. And they used, the character Bodie in The Wire. Um,
Mhm.
that's actually Avon's Barksdale nickname was Bodie. So they
Right.
kind of broke his story up indirectly into different parts. It's a little documentary out there on him. He tell a story about how they pretty much came to see him, told him they was going to use his story, and there wasn't really nothing he could do about it because he was incarcerated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, all right. So, how was your childhood growing up there?
Um, shit. Before crack hit, everything was cool. You feel me? I think that's the story for in most places. Before crack hit, my folks was outside till midnight. It was block parties and shit,
Mhm.
talent shows in the park. You know what I mean? The church was involved in the community. You know what I mean? It was a different vibe until and people don't realize this. I say this before we move on. The one thing that people don't realize that was different from crack than straight coke or heroin, that it made it easier for everybody to be drug dealers because it was so cheap. You didn't
Okay.
have to know somebody to be able to afford to get in. You could buy a gram for $50 and suddenly be a drug dealer. You feel what I'm saying? So it was a
Right.
different atmosphere. So it created more wars. It took away the kingpin. The
Okay.
kingpins went away after crack really hit going into the 90s. It wasn't like one kingpin running the area anymore. Those days was gone. It was just a bunch of street crews everywhere. 40, 35, 50 people on the corner. You know what I'm saying? People from
Okay.
out of town coming in. Like I started with New York boys, but go ahead. I'll let you move on with your
No, go ahead. Go
next
ahead.
question.
Because this is what I like. I mean, it's cool because it's on you. Now, if you want to get into that, because that's what I mean, because it's still relative to what I was going to get at. Like, far as that, what type of you're coming up in that culture? What type of influences did was dropped on you, with, like going through what you were seeing in your environment?
To be honest, it was my uncle. My uncle got killed in '78, so I never got a chance to meet him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
As a man, but hearing stories about somebody and people talk about somebody with um a love, a fear, and an aberration, you don't hear people talk about people like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me and my younger family members, my little cousins, we all wanted to kind of be like Uncle Norman and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we kind of modeled ourselves after the stories we heard. You know what I'm saying?
So, saying with that being said, real quickly, without getting too deep in it, so obviously Uncle Norman must have been a player. He must have been somebody out there doing his thing.
Yeah, he was a bank robber, drug. He did. He was a pimp. He was every fucking thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you know what I mean. The one thing that you do learn as you grow up, some things people, when older people tell stories, they put a little bit of sauce on
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah. You
saying?
know that.
You know what I mean? They put a little something on it. But the one thing that they do give you is the climate and the way things felt, but you hear the truth from the people that was around that age group, from that age bracket that he was at the time. He was killed by the police in 78 in the
Right.
commission of robbing a bank. You know what I'm saying? So that
Okay.
led even more to the allure around who he was. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
So okay, so far as yourself with that, how what type of trials and tribulations have had you endured? Like I was saying, your teenage years. Do you have any like you playing in the streets, you doing any dealing or coming up that type of way yourself? Without you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, without you incriminate yourself or trying to like
Well, most of I go into it like this. We moved from East Baltimore, which is called down the hill in Baltimore City, and we moved to Northeast Baltimore. And I was probably about 10, 11, like I was still in fifth grade, and I was riding my bike down to there. The thing about that was being in a different place, and then it felt different. It didn't feel like East Baltimore. It felt like the suburbs originally, because when we first got around there, I had never went up top, and then it was only maybe about one dude that was on my block that was getting it for real, like dead ass.
mm-hmm,
One dude, his name was Graylin, and his cousin met a New York guy over the jail. And the thing about the thing about cats from New York, when they came to Baltimore the right way because they made it seem like they should have been there. You know what I mean? They came offering gifts. They came like, oh, you know, you ain't gotta make that trip all the way up there. We could be right here, and then slowly move in. You know what I mean? And
mm-hmm,
I was a youngin when I seen this. Like no bullshit. I was a youngin. Like the dude, I was outside the day. Dude, I true told Graylin like, yo, something happened, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to get away from here." Graylin was confused, ain't know what was going on. He shot him in the ass and dead ass. That was the last time we ever seen that dude. Next time we look around, and that area was easy because it was really just him
yeah,
and his cousin was doing a bid for a long period of time. Throughout that process, they brought three more down there. And then next thing you know, the big three was down there. I became a runner because I true just somewhat took a liking to me as a little youngin. So my job pretty much was that whenever they was finished bagging up, I transported the product on my little bike down to the peep, give them that, take the money back, give it to them to do count, and that was my little job. And I talked shit while I was doing it, and then from
yeah,
there, because they had a process. They thought they was the mob or some shit. Like real shit. They had it was the
right,
big three. Off of that big three, you had workers, but you had to prove yourself in order to get work from the big three. So whoever was the people that they brought up there, you'll get work from them. They might give you a pack. They might give you a 250 pack or something. once you once you get rid of those couple of packs for them. Then, but I ain't had to go through that process because I true fucked with me a little bit. You know what I mean? So my first pack came right from him. So about a month later, I was already getting a reasonable amount of work from him, and then from there, I was able to have my own crew and getting points off the package. But I ain't even really, to be honest, and I kind of skipped the part.
Mhm.
But the only reason why I started working for them in the first place is because me and my homie had violated a little bit, but they gave us a pass. You know what I mean? Because I think they understood we was young and we ain't really know, and we had started moving something out of this chick apartment as little dudes and shit. Like we was getting busy. We ain't understand that we was supposed to go through them and all this other shit. You know what I mean?
Right,
This my
right, right,
building. I live here. Fuck you talking about.
right.
And they came and hollered at us on some it wasn't no rah rah shit. They just explained it. They ain't rob nobody, they ain't do nothing like that. It was a conversation. They made it clear though, within the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
And
doing that.
you know what I'm saying? But I could have did some sucker shit and called my people, did all that shit.
Yeah,
But the way the family always worked, like you wanted to gain your own name on shit. You ain't really want to use the family for shit, even if you could have.
yeah, right,
Um,
right. I got you.
But that was the process of how I started with them and eventually getting points off the package and then eventually moving away from them and having my own shit and having that area myself along with a couple of other people. Like I'm not gonna sit on here and try to make it seem like I was fucking Scarface or Frank Lucas.
Yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah. That's what
stories are very far between. You know what I'm saying? We all know that. Like that game just
yeah,
like that. If you ain't got a mean connect, you ain't like come on now.
right.
Most of us, most we have seen is an eighth a key or maybe touch the key.
Yeah,
Outside of that, motherfuckers be
yeah, right.
bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Just like I was telling myself, I'm sorry for this. I always be interrupted by guests, but I was telling a
No, you
friend of
good.
mine, just like the rap shit all the time, and I know I'm gonna see what you said. It's just like I one of these rappers all the time. These young kids always whipping it, Pyrex this, Pyrex that, and I just be
Mm,
like, I mean, it sounds good, but for me to you, is that the truth or a lie? Like, which you all this Pyrexing. Like,
that's
nigga, you got
bullshit. It
this
just
shit
sound good.
out the refrigerator, nigga. You got that shit packaged. You did not get on no stove. Nigga, you fuck shit up in the microwave, nigga. You can't fucking fry bologna sandwich, but you're gonna tell me that you Pyrexing that shit. And any mistake, it's your ass, nigga. So, but we go
That's
back
a
to you.
fact. That's a fact.
Like,
You
cut it.
you fuck up the whole
The
package. You don't know
whole
what you're doing.
thing doing that. And these
I
niggas
didn't.
be,
It didn't happen to me before. And trying to bring that thing back, and
yeah,
you
it ain't
see
no
what you
bringing it back.
lost.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Whew,
yeah. Woo wee.
fuck out of here.
And Doobie, and yeah, and homie, it's nothing to talk to him about that.
Mm-mm.
He
Nah,
just need that president.
you
That's
gotta
your
fix that. You
issue.
might just have to step on that a few more times. It's a lot of motherfuckers out here selling a lot of baking soda. Then
Right. But I mean, like I said,
it,
but I'm not trying to get it. Yeah, and I ain't trying to bring you or myself because I'm not ill like that. It's just the reference that, like, I try to tell, like, bro, all that Pyrex and like niggas wasn't do niggas
nah.
got that shit ready to go, bro. There's not too many niggas.
That was the idea and the ideology behind it anyway. But I did like before I left, I always recommend it for anybody. If you getting over two, if you're getting over two O's, you should just go ahead and buy it straight and step on it the way that you want. Because no
Yeah,
matter what, you buying, even though you buying a ready-made product, you also buying a lot of cut on top of it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And that shit is hit and miss like it is with anything. You know what I'm saying? Like it is with anything. You don't know if that shit going to be the same quality each time because each the connect the person you dealing with ain't dealing with if they ain't dealing with somebody solid, each time you get something from them it's gonna be something different. You
right.
know what I'm saying? And that
Exactly.
shit fucks everything up. At least you
Exactly.
can kind of mandate how you if you want your product to be trash, it could be trash. You feel what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
you wanted to be good, it could be good. And we both know how that game works.
yeah,
Their their first high of the day is their best high of the day. They chasing that first high
yeah.
that
You're never gonna
day,
get
that
it
whole
again.
entire day. So if you get them something good the beginning of the day, you can get them garbage the rest of the
Yeah,
day.
you can give it a
For
garbage the
real,
rest
for
of
real.
it. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's not about that. So all right, so I would say that like, okay, so again, previously, I mean not previously, currently and present is what the P word that I want to use. Present, obviously, we're older. That's nothing. That's way behind you.
yeah,
So what? Let's say, like that's what I mean about trials and tribulations. Was you ever back, or what type of
yeah.
situation, scenario, or you did do a little stint?
hmm Yeah,
You
yeah. Big
want to
facts.
you want to touch it a little bit,
No,
or
I go right into it. I didn't told the story before. I'm an open book when it come to that because I think people can learn from shit like that. Trying to hide shit like that don't even make sense, right? But you know, like all of us when we young, you believe that you untouchable. They ain't fucking with you. They ain't watching you. You know what I'm saying? In the '90s was just a different vibe. Like
right?
I'm dead ass. I don't know. Like a lot of people saying all this shit about the drug lord, the '94 drug lord, and all this shit back in the '90s. Y'all ain't lived through that shit. Sit your asses down. It was different out in the street back then
Mm-hmm.
because the difference with that shit is even though they passed that law, each individual city like Baltimore, you had to have a certain amount of joints on you in order for it to be perceived as a felony. So you had cats coming, if you had under 30 joints on you, you was coming home on your own reconness sometimes.
Oh
You
damn!
feel what I'm saying? So
Right.
you had you people was getting money. It wasn't an issue. You didn't have that revolving door where it was all these wars going on because people was going in and then people was coming out. You feel what I'm saying? It was cats getting 7 off of murder charges. That's a fact. So all
Mm-hmm.
that shit about it, 94 crime bill, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. We was the '90s was just something different out on the block. But anyway, um, about '95, when that transition where it was I was done with them and it was time for me to do my thing. A guy we come outside. I used to come outside the same time every morning. My mother leave for work. I hit the block about 6:15, 6:30 for real. And this dude who I never seen before a day in my life called me by my government name. And most people never call me by my government name. Not even girls. They always call me Tawny or Black or some shit like that. They never call me by my government name. Call me by my government name. And like, who the fuck is dude? Everybody asking who the fuck is dude. I'm like, I don't know this motherfucker. So they let him come down towards the building and shit. And he explaining who he is, talking about he went to his nephew went to Lake Clifton with me. Like, motherfucker, I wasn't in that Lake Clifton but a week. Fuck we talking about? Like literally, I was at that school for a week before they put me out.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to sell me a snub nose 32. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I got plenty of those. I'm good. Take that shit up the street somewhere. He leave all that day. All that day, this motherfucker kept trying to sell just me.
Uh,
It's 1,000 motherfuckers outside from
so
my
he kept
area
trying
to
to
up
sell
top.
it to you.
Yeah, he kept trying to sell me, just me, that gun, which at the time wasn't suspicious. It only became suspicious after the fact. You feel what I'm saying? You know, I'm not thinking about it at the time. But anyway, he late on that night, this motherfucker come back again. But at this time, I'm with my man from up top because even though me and him ain't do business together, we should go, as everybody would say now, uh, catch a couple of licks together. You know what I mean? Especially around the holidays, motherfuckers be slipping. You know what I mean? Come up a little bit, whatever. So we getting out the hack. And for those that don't know what a hack is in Baltimore City, it's a before Uber and Lyft and that shit took place, it was people with regular cars that for extra money would give you a ride. Um, that's pretty much what that is, and that's pretty much what drug dealers would use because it made it more convenient because they would take you anywhere you would need to go, one for a cheaper price, and round trips was better. You ain't had to go through all that shit you had to go through with cabs and shit. We getting out
Mm-hmm.
of that shit, Higgum dude again. My man, like, yo, I get it from, but my man, like, I'm gonna shoot to the crib real quick. Now, at this time, this dude ain't got the gun on him. All of a sudden, now he ain't got the gun on him.
Wow.
So now he has to go get the gun. Lady down at the block that I used to do business with, you know what I mean? Who name I leave out of the story because she good people's
Mm-hmm.
for real. But I owed her a couple dollars because she used to front me and I flip for a couple weeks and then I get back to her. But this time it was like a month for real. You know what I mean? So she was
Mm-hmm.
finally like, "Come on, baby." And I told my stepfather, I told my man that y'all don't do nothing before I come. Don't do nothing before I come back. Don't do shit before I
Mm-hmm.
come back. Wait till I come back. Even if they get back before I get back, don't nobody do shit until I get back. I'm down there talking to her. Reach down to give her the money. 5 gunshots go off. At the same time, 5 police cars coming down the block. She had me go in her crib, tell everything over with, whatever, whatever. Now that night, we never talked about that night after that, cause you know shit happen like that all the time. Motherfuckers don't sit around and talk about that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Me and my stepfather lived together. We ain't never talk about what happened back there that night. Couple of months go by, door getting kicked in. They coming to get me. Never told me what they was coming to get me for. They came and got me for uh attempted murder, and they had me under investigation for so-called quote running a criminal enterprise, which is bullshit. It's me and a couple of little niggas that ain't even we moving shit, but in your mind that shit big, but in reality that shit ain't nothing. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they come to get me. They got me and my stepfather. And they let my stepfather out on his own reconnaissance because they only locked him up because he had a couple of joints underneath on his dresser for real. And they showed the pictures. They showed me the pictures and shit. And then they finally told me while I was there. And the story that the cat gave them was the dumbest shit I ever heard. He told them he was behind the building smoking crack. I came, me and 2 other people came and I asked him where was the $100 that he owed me. He said he didn't have the money. I told the 2 people that was with me to commence the shooting. One, who the fuck talks like that? Two, what the fuck crackhead is gonna owe me $100? That shit didn't even make sense. I laughed because I'm trying to figure out if this cat got shot 5 times. He gave y'all a statement. To me, at that moment, that whole shit felt like a setup. At that
Right.
moment, as they was telling me the story, now my mind going through a couple of things. So I ain't say shit. I just sit there and kept asking for intake. Like I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. Give me intake. I did my little bit of time. I ended up doing 5 on 5, 5 years suspended, 5 years probation. You know what I mean? Because they gave me a certain amount time served. The unconventional thing about my release was the judge released me February 2nd, 1996,
Mm-hmm.
with no probation or parole on that day. He told me, I'm going to release you with 30 days without being on nothing. But if you get locked up before your probation hearing, you're going to have to do the whole 10 years over top of your head, period.
Mm.
Don't matter if you get locked up for pissing in the alley. It doesn't matter if you get locked up for loitering. It don't matter what they lock you up for. The, you're not getting this 5 on 5 because I was supposed to be released in January. The bitch ass police gonna talk about. We don't know if it's suitable to let him back out into society. We gotta see if he administers to society. I'm like, what the fuck is this
Wow.
shit? I'm like, what the
Right.
fuck is this? If it's not no bullshit, if it's not for the people in my area, the everyday working people that didn't even realize. Or they probably knew I was a drug dealer. Maybe they didn't care because of the way that they was treated, the way that they was respected, the way that people we used to go to the store for them. We used to help them with their bags.
Right,
We
right,
never
right.
disrespected the area like that. You know what I mean? It's not to say we didn't do shit, but up where I lived at, because I lived there and my mother lived there, it was a certain type of respect we gave the area, and those people really helped bring me home for real. You know what I'm saying? Without them speaking up and signing up and saying, "Oh no, he this and he did that and da da." And the plus side of that is half of the pictures that they had of me and us was of us helping the people in the community with their bags, getting out of cars and shit like that. They ain't really have shit. They had us going down Castle Street to get weed and little shit like that, but they didn't have nothing. The judge threw that shit out at the preliminary. He threw the drug charge out. The thing I didn't realize, being that young, is what up. Being as though I only pled to Wayne, Kern, and find a handgun in the state of Maryland, it's still read as his original charge. So after I transitioned to change my life and got married and all that shit, it was hard for a motherfucker to get a job because that
Yeah.
shit looked like a pamphlet. You feel what I'm saying? Because it read as its original charge, and then you put that on the top of with some non-processors of robbery charge I beat, a gun charge I beat, shit like that. Somebody pull that shit. That shit look this thick. You know what I'm saying? And in Baltimore, you can't get no felony expunged from your record. You only can get non-processors expunged from your record. You got to sit with that felony the rest of your goddamn life unless the governor gives you a street pardon. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got to write him, and then you got to be eligible a certain amount of years. Like for drug charge, it got to be 15 years. For
Damn.
attempt murder, it's 25 years. You know what I'm saying? By then, they won't even be able to see it. What are we
Right.
talking about? They only can go
Exactly.
7 years back now anyway. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't even worry about the shit no more. But in the beginning, that shit was hard. But I'll let you move on to the next question.
Yeah, that's crazy, but it's real shit, bro. So basically, what I would say, like after that, so moving further, so those was trials and tribulations. So we move
Mm.
further. I would say, like, so dealing with your environment. So, do you have any skills? When was it any time that you got to play ball? Was you a ball player? Was you You got any skills? You mess with the music? You rap yourself? Do you make beats or anything? Produce or anything?
I used to rap. Growing up, we had a little rap group. We had a little record deal, which was some trash. Um,
You do have a
Dude
record.
from Audio 2 has signed us to a bullshit ass boutique label. We was the
A
mafia.
boutique label.
Yeah, that's what all these labels is. A lot of people
Oh,
don't realize that. Almost
nah,
all these labels, Bad Boy, Cash
nah.
Money,
No, I
all
feel
in
you.
my
I feel you.
boutique
I'm
labels.
taking it wrong. My knowledge, and I took it. I'm taking the real definition of what you're talking about wrong. But go ahead. Just don't even waste it on that. I took it
Yeah,
as
but you
exactly what boutique
yeah, I
is.
know what you took it at. But we had that shit, and a friend of ours, his mother was our manager, and what
Mm-hmm.
ended up happening with the major label that we did the showcase in front of, because it was like 10, 11 of us, they didn't want everybody. They only
Of
wanted
course.
a couple people, and she didn't feel like us as little kids could have took them only wanting four people. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
she kind of at the time just told us that they didn't want the group. You
Right.
feel what I'm saying? Which was a stand up, because I don't think any of us would have even took it. Now years later, she told us which one they wanted. Me, one of her sons, my cousin, and another guy. Because they felt like, one, we was kids. There's too much maintenance dealing with a group of 11 little kids and shit. And they took the four people that was pretty much writing for the rest of the group, because it's not like everybody was rappers. It was something that we started. You know what I mean? You got homeboy, yo, come be a part of the group. I don't care if you don't rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Little shit like that, where you only got about 3 bars, 4 bars anyway. It don't matter. We'll write that down for you real quick or whatever. But that was just stint on that. I got soured on the rap and shit after that. Like I did it as a hobby moving forward just to write something being therapeutic. But as far as me being part of the industry or still pursuing it after that experience, um, I ain't really fuck with the game no more because us not understanding, us being signed to something for somebody at that moment, we thinking we have the deal already.
Yeah.
That's not us understanding that this person is just signing us to him. He still needs to shop us to a major label. You
Right.
feel what I'm saying? Because that's how that shit works. You sign to somebody, they pretty much selling you or proposing you to say, all right, we believe in this, do you invest in this? And then I'm gonna give them a little bit of nothing because he signed us to a developmental deal, which would have
Right.
led to us not getting no money anyway. You
Nothing.
feel what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He would have got all the money, and the label would have got a bunch of money on the back end, and they would have just had expenses for us traveling or doing whatever. You know what I mean? All that industry bullshit.
Yeah, it's crazy. 'Cause ain't
Yeah.
nobody gonna keep you right because everybody works on their own. Cause that stopped me one time. I almost signed to the same thing when I was out when I first came back to Boston, and same thing. Dude was like, "Yo, I don't think," but he told me straight up because I was with people and I would go. I got linked up. I put myself in a situation, but the dude was like, "Yo, you're not ready, but I'm gonna keep you here because I'm working on other people. But I'm gonna sign you. I'm gonna put you down on a development joint, like what you're talking about."
Hmm.
And it's funny, but at the same time, I knew at the same time I was kind of cool. Even still, I would have rocked with it, but I knew what it was. I knew it was stagnant. It was stagnation. It would have been stagnant. It was just a stagnant situation. And you definitely, for anybody who don't know nothing about, and I still a lot of stuff I don't know. But anybody who see this on the replay, anything, you don't want to sign your John Hancock on anything where somebody's gonna have you just sitting around and you're not doing nothing, and then you find or network and do something on your own, but this person got your name saying that you can't do that.
Yep. And a
Whoa.
lot of these people, a lot of people think a lot of these guys are really getting money, and they not. They just not. They're like the truth of the matter when it comes to the industry. A long time ago, artists used to get their money by going on tour. That has
Yeah,
even changed because of 360 deals. Because these
right.
labels own their likeness,
Their
my nigga.
likeness, yeah. It's funny, him
So
and the street rap.
anything they do, movies, commercials, the label get because we in an age where labels are not getting the money that they used to get because of the streaming shit. And if they would have
Yeah.
got in on it way back in the beginning, like you could tell where music was headed after the Napster shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to ignore the shit and just try to kill Napster off. But that told them we was moving towards streaming at that time. They did nothing about it. And it's a lot of artists right now not even getting the money they should be getting from the streaming shit, especially older artists. A lot of the
Right.
older artists is not getting what they should get, man. And that's fucked up, but they just not getting that shit.
So at the same time, though, I would say, do you still have like, so you don't really care about it, but do you still think that like if you wanted to do it, you still got writing skills? Do you ever go back and write some rhymes or something, or are you still affiliated with anybody with music?
Um, Not really. Like my man, that he can rap and he around people, industry people. Like he cool with Busy B and he always
Mhm.
at a bunch of industry events and shit like that. Me myself personally, if I did anything in the industry, I would if it was a younger artist, I would like to be in management or some shit like that or even writing for somebody. But as far as me being in the industry, I'm 43, that time has passed. But you know what I mean? I love the culture so much that I would be involved in it that way behind the scenes. I wouldn't want to be in front of the camera. Wouldn't want to be on no puffy shit, no Suge Knight shit, nobody, no shit like that. But the guidance of helping somebody, because a lot of people don't know, bro. A lot of people don't know. And they sign their lives away so easily for that first check.
Right.
You know what I'm
And then
saying?
and it's funny, like so many things to connect, like what you said. That Sean was looking good. You're looking rich right there, bro.
There we go.
Looking like what's the name? Man, rich looking rich right there. Um, and it's funny because it's just like that goes to what you said that we know. That's just like the crackhead chasing his first hit right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's gonna happen. You gonna get that. And it was interesting what you said. I'm all over the place, but it makes
No,
sense,
you
and that's
good.
how it is. Is because it's just like what you were saying in your thesis and your shit early this morning, 13 hours ago, and I loved it because me and you were on point. That's why I fuck with you. It's this thing. We're gonna do it somewhere else down the line. The bag, because that's what
Yeah.
gets you. It's a crackhead situation, chasing the bag.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get just like a crackhead. You're gonna get your hit chasing the bag, and guess what? That's gonna be the only bag you get. You're gonna get high that one time, and then you're gonna be sitting around on a motherfucker for the rest of your fucking career if you don't.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
And once people figure that out, like when the light bulb went off for me, like I give my ex-wife a lot of credit and where I'm at mentally, period. Because if not for meeting her, one, my oldest daughter not here and I don't decide to change my life. Two, the first time I went to her aunt and uncle house, we pull up at this big ass house. I'm like, what the fuck do they do for a living? She like,
uh-huh.
my aunt worked for social service and my uncle worked for the city. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way. Somebody gotta be a doctor. Somebody gotta be a lawyer. Somebody gotta be something. She like, nah, nigga, ain't nobody, none of that. So now I gotta learn what they know because obviously they know something. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know something. I need to know what they know. And what I've realized is because our parents, um, bless them, but they was raising us for survival. They wasn't worried about no credit, no college. It was like graduate and get a good job. Every tool that they gave us coming up was to survive the environment. It
Right,
wasn't
right,
about anything else. You feel what I'm saying? Because that was their job. You coming up in that environment, they're not worried about nothing else but you living to see 21.
right.
Because especially for and our generation, because all of us is a part of Generation X. You feel me? Even us who believe that they're not, we're part of Generation X. For our generation, especially back then, you wasn't supposed to see 18 coming from the environment. You know what I mean? I was burning people at 12, 13, shit like that. Going to funeral. I went to more funerals than fucking weddings. I
Right,
ain't never even had a wedding. And I was married for 20 years. We got married at the courthouse. You feel what I'm saying?
right,
We got married at
right.
the
That other
courthouse.
shit is
Yeah,
what's
you know
making
what I'm saying?
white folks.
But that's all that they was trying to do. And once I learned that, once I realized it's not about how much you make, it's about what you do with your money and establishing and building credit. Once you do that, you can get just about anything you want. From a business loan to a car loan, anybody can get a house, people. Anybody.
Mhm.
Anybody. All you need to do is have your credit in the right situation. Only thing you need to have is your debt to income ratio in the right place. Because it doesn't matter if you got a 750 credit score. If your debt is higher than your income, they're not gonna give you a damn thing. So for all these little people with these channels with the conspiracy shit, oh yeah, it's people with 750 credit score and they don't give them nothing. It's because of income to debt ratio. They need your debt. It's the way this country works. This country is built off of debt. You know what I'm saying? They need yours, they need mine. And once you know that, you can use that to your advantage. You know what I mean? In a positive way. Not
Right,
getting a bunch of credit cards and shit like that. It's easy ways to build up your credit, getting a secured credit card because that's your money. You know what I'm saying? A secured credit card is your money. You might need $500 or $1,000, but that's your money. And you take that and you pick a bill that you got that's around that same amount and you pay that bill every month with that card and then you take the money that you would normally pay that bill with and you put it back on the card to circulate. You show a payment history and then you pay it off. That's how you build up your credit fast with a secured credit card.
it might be a little bit different, but a personal question I would ask you at the same time. So do you figure you think it's better? It would definitely be better to mess with a credit union over a bank, right? Or wrong?
Same difference. It's all the same.
You don't
A
even think
credit
a
union
credit
is
union?
more likely a credit union is more likely to deal with your personal history with them than they is to deal with your credit outside of that. You feel
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
because I always ask people, and then like the people that I've asked over the last few years, because I was kind of ignorant to the fact and just trying to find out. And basically, because basically a credit union is just like a more sophisticated and more trustworthy susu, right?
No.
You
A,
don't
a
think so?
shoo is pretty much something that a group of people do. A
Yeah,
credit
that's what I'm
union is
saying. That's
nothing.
why I,
A credit union is nothing but a bank. A
yeah,
credit union is a bank. To keep it a buck with you, it's a bank, but it's a bank. It's an independent bank that's
mhm.
dedicated to. Say you work for a job and they recommend a credit union to you. That credit union is going to cater to the people that work for the agency that they have the contract with. You feel what I'm saying? They're going to cater to the people. It's nothing like being with a credit union and establishing good credit with that credit union. Because as long as your bank account is on good standing with them, you can make a phone call. It's nothing like that feeling like, all right, I'm about to go look at a car. They like, okay, just call us back and let us know how much you need. As simple as that.
Yeah,
How much you need, and they'll cut the check and send it over to whatever car dealership
yeah, because
you at.
them niggas even know more personal than your bank, like, because they're gonna get their money. Like where a bank will chase
Yeah,
you, credit union know everything. You're not escaping that. You owe them money, they're gonna get that shit.
they don't get it
From what
anyway. And
I
they just go by, and a lot of banks on the flip side, a lot of banks go by that too. The problem is with personal loans, they're always hesitant with
well, yeah,
personal
personal.
loans if you don't have anything to offer up, they're going to be hesitant of fucking with you if you don't have anything they can put a lien on, or you have some worth. You got to have some worth dealing with. They're going to be hesitant. A credit union is not. They're going to go off of how you are with them. You could pick up the phone and be like, yo, I need 5 stacks. And they're
Right,
going to take that chance.
right, right,
they
right.
they rather take that chance with you because they're going to use you. All banks use us in order to get money from the bigger banks. That's how it circulates. They use you to say, all right, I got this amount of new people. I need this amount of money so I can circulate this through Wall Street in order for this money to come right back. Everything is circulated through Wall Street. Everything. Every bank circulates the money through Wall Street. That shit come right back around, and that shit is back distributed back out between the big
Mhm.
banks. That's the way the shit. That's the way the system works. And the sooner we understand that shit, the more successful we'll be when we understand that this shit is a business. It's not personal. None of this
Right.
shit has been personal. It's always been about business. We got to treat it as such also. We got to put ourselves in position to understand that we're part of this business too in your own individual household. You run your own economy. Treat it as such. You'll be a little more successful that way, no matter what that success might be. Somebody form of success might be staying in the projects but balling, staying in the trailer park but balling. You know what I'm saying? You can't put your form of success on other people.
All right. I need to take a break for a second. So, I want you to, because I got to step for half a second. So I want you to do this too, bro. I want you to explain to me or to the viewers as well. It's like the big, what I'm saying, basically the elephant in the room. You don't have to go too deep of going
Mm.
because I know that you well can do this, but how do you feel about the corona situation and how's have it affected your life since I would say in the last 3 months or so? I'm gonna be back, so just answer it.
I got you. That me personally hasn't had no effect on me because I've been working through this process because I'm considered an essential worker. Um, and I think even with this shit, and say a few things I done said on my channel before is that we should have learned. This should be a learning experience for everybody that's witnessing it and that's involved. We should know at this point, if you haven't known, that your supposedly president that we all think is so powerful really has no power at all. Should have learned that. Second part we should have learned is, what if they couldn't give out any of the stimulus checks? Would you have been prepared to be able to pay 3 months worth of rent, 4 months worth of rent, shit like that, or even a car payment? There's certain things we should have learned about ourselves during this process, and that's the thing that I looked at. Other than that, really had no effect on me because I'm a homebody anyway. I don't go too many places. I didn't had my fun at a young age. I didn't have my fun, so no, I had no effect on me. I go to work, I come home, I spend time with my kids and my granddaughter. No effect on me, no change on me. I would say the only effect on me is having loved ones that I know that has had or caught the virus, and the effect that it has on older people and people who already sick and shit like that. Like that's, you know what I mean? Shit like that. That's the part that bothers me in watching the older people come to work every day, that's putting their lives on the line and not be compensated for. You know what I mean? All of us essential workers have not been compensated. They gave us a little bit of hazard pay. That's about it. You know what I mean? They making sure that they feed the beast. They making sure that they give the people money so it can circulate back in the economy. But they're not giving the essential workers anything when nobody has to. Everybody can say, "Fuck it, I ain't going to work tomorrow." That'll
Hmm.
never happen, but they could do that shit. You feel what I'm saying? They could do that shit. You know what
All
I
right.
mean?
So what I want to get to now is, so after the trials and tribulations, and then the music situation, even though you said I was kind of younger, but whatever, what brought you to YouTube?
Um, Shit. Originally, on my original channel, I was just doing like battle rap shit. Um, it's a bunch of battle rap content because I just love that culture. This channel was started because of some a discrepancy on that I heard on Hassan Campbell shit, and I responded to that. And I wasn't going to, and I said something about it. And I wasn't even going to do no more videos. Another content creator, Ashe Devon, she encouraged me to continue doing content, and that's what gave birth to this channel for real.
Mhm. So, what would you would say would be your goals and accomplishments of like what is, so basically what is your channel about?
Me and my way of thinking. I put it this way. The best way to explain my channel is I give one purely who I am myself and give commentary on real life shit from a street perspective. You know what I mean? I don't talk when you're trying to reach a certain people, you need to be able they need to be able to understand you come from the same place. If anybody feel like you talking down on them or you thinking you better than them or you more educated than them, sometimes things can be said in a simple way for people to understand exactly what you're talking about. Doesn't have to be so complicated. And I think a bunch of us, it's not about one person being a leader. I think everybody can get something from somebody. We live in an information age. So if I know something, I want to share it with my people. And that's pretty much what the channel is about. Whether I'm sharing me or how I feel about something or my way of thinking, it might reach somebody that might spark something in them that can actually be in a position to change something later. You know what I mean? Everybody not meant to be the next whatever. It can be a group of us that can actually be sharing and giving out information to each other. That starts. That's the good part about social media. Fuck the bad part. The good part about it is people from all over, even for the people, for us smaller YouTubers who might only have whatever, we still reach a certain amount of people. We still have influence on a certain amount of people. That's to be said. And if we pull our resources together, even with this shit, and start actually treating this shit like a network, we can actually start moving in the right direction when it comes to how to use this correctly. You know what I mean? Because the kids got this shit. The kids know what they doing. We still ain't figured it out yet. You know what I'm saying? We still getting our feet wet. The kids know exactly what they doing though.
Got you, AI. Yeah, so basically the same type of different, but so one more. Would you explain to us like what kind of differentiates you from other YouTubers that like somebody who's just sitting, they want to start listening to somebody's channel, um, that they need to come check out Street Knowledge.
I'm saying it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for honesty, if you're looking
Hmm.
for honesty and you're not looking for no bullshit, then I think it's a few places that you can go. Not just me. You can come over to me, or you can go to the Prince, or you can go to a brother named Dirk, or Ro, or a couple of other places all around, and even some bigger YouTubers. You know what I
Or
mean?
smaller ones like T History.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, they already here, so I ain't name you. But
No, I'm just
I
playing around. Go ahead, bro.
I
I
just
gotta
think
show my personality. Go ahead.
yeah, no, you could. I just think when it come to this shit, if we support each other a little bit, if we support each other a little bit more, even us content creators, even the ones that we have issues with, you can you can make something out of this shit anyway. Because a lot of people is watching a lot of different channels anyway, but you can make something out of this shit. Like this shit can be something, and there's a lot more streaming services out here. Like I do caffeine too. Just started doing that, but I do that shit too.
So all right, so it's like two more parts and we're gonna be done. But I do it, everybody. I wish I could do a little bit better just in the time frame for us. But what I do, everybody, is I just do a little question and answer. It just can't be no wrong answer. I'm just gonna ask you a couple of questions and you just answer which one you're gonna choose. You
All right,
D? All right. Money, power.
power,
Us, we.
us,
Home meal or fast food.
home meal,
Paper or plastic.
paper,
Vinyl or CD.
vinyl,
Book or computer.
book,
Movie or documentary.
documentary, all day,
Fist or gun.
fist.
Thick or thin.
Say again. I'm sorry.
Thin or thick.
Thin or thick?
Correct.
Thick, thick.
Hot or cold.
Depends. Cold.
Car or truck.
At this stage in my life, I would say truck,
Shoes, kicks.
kicks,
Jeans, slacks.
jeans,
Chicken or steak.
steak,
Big pop.
big,
Scarface, Ice Cube.
Scarface,
Mm. 90s rap or 2000s rap.
90s,
90s R&B or 2000s R&B.
90s R&B,
Whitney or Anita Baker.
Anita Baker,
Gold or platinum?
Some of the best projects is gold, but I would say gold. A lot of the best projects was gold.
Beach or pool?
Say again.
Beach or pool?
Pool.
Build or destroy?
Hmm. Should they one and the same to me? But I would say build. But I think you need to. Sometimes you need to destroy and rebuild. I think it's a process either way. But
Water or juice?
water,
Light or dark?
dark,
Lemon, lime?
lime,
Tits, ass?
ass,
Eyes, lips?
lips,
Rebel or vigilante?
rebel,
B-ball or football?
football,
Boxing or UFC?
boxing,
Hockey or baseball?
hockey.
Democrat or Republican? Don't be scared. I
Neither,
know what
but
you're saying.
neither. But I would say, actually, at this point in time, Republican.
Oh no, you gonna go Republican. I already know. BK or Popeyes?
Popeyes,
Blunts or wraps?
raps,
Looks or substance?
substance,
Oh, that's what that is. Save or spender?
shit, a bit of both. Save, I would say save. Even though I don't like that shit. I think that's a falsehood too, because you
No,
can't take that shit with you.
I said looks and substance, right? So,
Yeah,
all right. And so, quickie marathon.
Mm, quickie.
All right. This is the last part, and then we'll get this together. What's a hot topic that me and you have addressed on our own time? I really, all right, let's just get to it. How are your thoughts? I have to be like this. I'm terrible because it's gonna probably be doing my wild ass. This is freestyle. Like it's probably gonna be two, three. How do you feel, and what do you gotta say? And do you think it's necessary? You to quote unquote you to beef. Get to it.
YouTube, I think people feel like it's necessary to build your channel, but I think then that's what your channel known for, and you're not able to grow. You're not able to reach an audience outside of whatever sector you in once your channel becomes known for that shit. It's the difference between addressing something and having a conversation than steady having an ongoing issue with people all the time. Because then what happened? If you grow your channel that way, somebody else gonna want to grow their channel off of you that way. If you become known for beef, then here come another YouTuber that's gonna want to beef with you to grow their channel that way. That shit gonna end up killing your channel off eventually. You know what I'm saying? You already gain and lose subscribers anyway. Every day you gain some, you lose some. You gain some, you lose some. That's why it's so hard to get ahead as a smaller YouTuber. Because
Right.
them numbers fluctuate constantly. You might look around and got 460 one day, and then 2 days later, that shit back down to 430. And then back up again, then back down again. So I don't, that beef and shit. Even though I think it's a way to do it. I think if the I think it's a way to do it correctly so people actually understand what's going on. I think it's a way that you can engage in war and make it entertaining. You feel what I'm saying? Like I think it's still got to be rules to the shit. Like men should engage with men, Women should engage with women. And I think it should be a mutual place where people meet up at. If I do a video about you and you do a video about me, it should be a place where we both can go and have that conversation and people can come over there and watch that. You feel what I'm saying? Now it can make sense. You got a mediator, ain't nobody over talking each other, all that bullshit. Now people can actually hear what the real issue is, and it can be a mutual place where people get it from both sides. I think that could work, but it ain't gonna happen. But I think that shit could work. It's a couple of places that try that way, but then people get to the point where I ain't going over there. Well, I ain't going over there and do this. I'm not going over there and do this. When you're not helping the audience that way, you know what I'm saying? You're not bringing the audience together. You can bring the audience together. Now people can know who you is, because at that point a lot of people then decided who they riding with. They didn't decide whether they riding with you or they riding with me, and they watching anyway from the bushes, but at least put everybody in one place where they can see everybody together. You know what I mean? And then offer that both people can win some people over, but don't nobody say it like that, because it's really about taking subscribers from each other and all that other bullshit. It's not really about anything more than that shit.
Wow, well put. So, my man, listen, this is Street Knowledge and T History. I thank you, Street, for coming and giving me this interview, man. It was a blessing. You know what I'm saying? An hour went by that quickly, and there's a lot of stuff that you let us know about yourself before, because I mean this is rapping time, but which is it doesn't matter. But it has is there any even one more statement that you got in your brain that you want to let the people know, or something that's on your chest that you want to like just want to rehash? I mean not rehash, but you know what I'm saying, say or whatever.
I'll say this, and then you can close out. I think, and anybody that's watching this now, or run across this later, support. It doesn't cost anything to press the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything to press the thumbs up or the thumbs down button, because anyway, that shit counts as a view. It doesn't cost nothing to do that. That shit is free. That helps a channel holder out just by pressing that. Even if you don't never come back to the channel, just pressing that button doesn't cost you nothing. And it's crazy how it's so hard for people to do that. And that's why
Exactly.
you have so many channel holders that participate in the bullshit to get people to subscribe to that channel to potentially make money off of this. Because nobody want to sit and do that. This is time consuming.
Very.
People that's not being compensated for this right now is doing this just off the strength. Some people doing it as a hobby. Some people don't want to be monetized, and then there's some people that do, but they spending their time to get on here and do this. Some people all day long, I don't know how the fuck they do that, but all day long, 8 9 hour streams and shit, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I would just say it don't cost too much just to press subscribe or like or share. That shit don't cost nothing. It's no money out of your pocket.
At all. All right. So
But
once again, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say appreciate you. Thanks for having me on, brother. It was a dope conversation. Thanks for you know what I mean, pretty much giving me leeway, because I know I talk all over the place and shit and
No,
bounce
you're
from
one of
subject
the
to
thing.
subject.
That's why me and you are cool.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
yeah. So the last thing is this: you go ahead and you get your promotions. Let everybody that's watching in the future and stuff. Let them know whether you can be found that via here, or if you got an Instagram, if you got any other social, just let it be known.
You can find me on YouTube, Street Knowledge, Tony Black. Stop by, even if you don't subscribe, watch a couple of videos. If you like the shit, subscribe. If not, it is what it is. That's always been my motto. That's why y'all never hear me asking people to subscribe. If you fuck with what I do, you fuck with what I do. You're going to eventually subscribe to the channel if you fuck with what I do. If you don't, then it ain't the place for you. You know what I'm
No
saying?
doubt.
That's just the way it go. I don't think nobody want anybody in their house that don't want to be there.
Exactly. Me neither. So with that being said, man, I think everybody who came through, like his people, like on Rolling Mile in My Shoes TV. Thank you, only for coming through and watch me. Hopefully, you'll subscribe to me yourself. But I got this with my niches. Like I told them that I like to interview people. I have other stuff. I make my little clip-ins, rap, and do stuff. And I like to have great interviews like this. And that's my big bro right there. And like I said, I don't. It's not really nobody else's business, but I do kick it with him off the scenes recently, just meeting him and stuff like that. Me and him are cool. He got a lot of knowledge, and that's the type of people that I like to be involved with. He don't try to don't come across as me as somebody that try to is a troublemaker. And as he told you from the beginning, I didn't never like try to put somebody. I try to put people in a greater light as much as I can. I but I like he's been on the street just like myself. A lot of us young brothers, that come from the ghetto or come from neighborhoods. We've done things in our lives that and a lot of that stuff is like what he said about our parents before us and our grandparents. It's like I've never done anything but survive. That's the thing about me. Like I can't like somebody say, "Oh, can you take away?" I never done anything bad. I used to eat, almost get lucky that I praise God and whatever the trees, the sources that I'm living here. Because even when I used to be a street person, I used to get in trouble with the guys I ran with because when I was seeing that, like doing stuff that was not like in bounds of like to get the money or what we were supposed to be doing and over beating somebody up and extra stuff, I would talk to motherfuckers like, yo, that part of it, nah. You see what I'm saying? So the point of me saying that is just that like I wanted the people who don't know Tony Black to know Tony Black and know that this is not somebody who with no disrespect to you, but you know how niggas do. Some dude with some glasses, some geek dude that just thinks that he's gonna talk and
Yeah, I
run his
think
mouth.
that's
This is somebody from Baltimore and Maryland. You seen the wire. You even though like he says a little of course is a little mixed with a little bit of this, some spice for TV, but he's from that area. And that's what what I'm saying. We all black and we supposed to be trying to help each other instead of tearing each other down. And on that note,
mhm.
I'm out. I thank everybody that came and the people that catch this in the replay
Salutes.
and just start helping brothers like us. To, you know what I'm saying? Peace. Oh, and thank you, Ro. Peace. And again, before I get out here while I still alive, like I said, for everything I had a good night. My boy, Mister from Marriage and Marijuana to what I'm saying to the Prince on 432. We're gonna get you before Saturday. And my man Karan Rami. And like I said, Esther Joy, Jose, thanks for coming. My baby Tina Belina, keep rubbing the belly. And like we just gonna keep coming with regular content, good content, and just regular people talk and just living this life and being healthy and being good and helping each other. Teach one, you know what I'm saying? That's all this about, man. And start spreading love, man, not war.